All right, guys, first session out on the track, and we got sent over to the rollers. AJ wanted me to handle the rollers because he's aware I sent myself pretty good down these things, caught my toe on the side of one and went flying down the track. So it's forced me to learn a little bit how to go through them a little bit safer. So taking the crew out here, they're going through them, getting warmed up on the section right now. I'm sort of just observing, seeing if I can pick out anything glaringly obvious that I can, kind of help out with, but we're gonna let them warm up for a minute. We'll pull them over and then sort of talk them through it. I'll probably give them a little example and then we'll send them back out and see if we can't make some progress. So yeah, they're getting warmed up and then we'll jump into some technique here. For the most part, I like what I'm seeing. A lot of you guys look like you're going through them pretty good. You're getting the front wheel up, kind of picking in the front wheel up and setting it on top of all of them. A couple things that I notice, and really what I try and feel when I'm going through these rollers specifically, because they're pretty shallow, and when you have a shallow set like this, you can really focus on keeping your head in the same exact position up and down throughout the whole roller set. And imagine there was a ceiling over this whoop section. My head is just scraping the ceiling the whole way down the section, basically. I'm kind of seeing out of some people, you hunker down into the pocket and then kind of jump off the next one, and you might feel like you're kind of slamming into the face of each of them. And that's gonna happen when your head starts to dip down in between them, and then you're almost jumping off of each roller. You don't have to pick the front wheel up and wheelie through them. You can still do it at a lower skill level where you just feel like you're pushing the bike away from you and you're pushing the bike down with your feet and your hands into the pocket while trying to keep your head in a perfectly straight line. And then it's just gonna come back up into your body. And you kind of just wanna feel like you're putting that pressure into your feet, pushing the bike down into the pocket to maintain that traction, and then just letting it come right back up into you. But I'm gonna do an example here and just try and focus on how steady my head stays. I'm gonna do it at a couple different speed levels. I'll do it completely rolling, like quarter throttle, pick up the pace a little bit, and then we'll do a real humdinger and hopefully not wad it up like last time. Do you guys want to work on after this? I think the next corner right here would be a decent one to work on if you guys like that. The next two corners, maybe, next two left-handers. It's gonna tie in nicely because this next left-hander is gonna put an emphasis on that smooth, keeping your head and shoulders nice and level. Because entering that corner, you obviously want to be in control and nice and smooth. And if you're bouncing around and your upper body is all over the place, it's gonna make it hard to get the bike to really settle into that outside berm, which I feel like is mostly what you guys are favoring, that outside berm in the next corner. Would you mind doing a demonstration for like the last half of the rollers? The first couple are difficult to get into. You kind of like bounce through them, but basically from here on, you were doing a perfect job of just getting that little power wheelie down in them and keeping your head and shoulders really like smooth and level. And that's gonna be so important for this next berm. I know AJ already touched on it, but now we can see it like real time. Like having her physically slow down on the straightaway saw benefits the rest of the corner. So that's definitely what I want to be focusing on. That was solid. Nicely done. Did it feel any better?
Yeah.
It seemed like you catch the last three a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't like hitting them hard.
Flow a little bit more into the turn. But one thing I'll say, and this is what we're going to be focusing on the rest of the time we're doing corners. Did you guys notice how she entered that sand berm probably 4 feet to the left? She had a lot of space where she could have entered the berm earlier and had a nice flowier entrance to it, rather than if you're 5 feet to the left going into that berm, you're entering it at a pretty steep angle. People are afraid to enter the berms at the beginning of the berms. If you guys can start getting yourself to enter at the very beginning of the berm, like if she could go 3 feet further to the right and get into the berm right at its initial part, you can start to lean over much easier, get your momentum turning before you get to that steep part in the berm. You've probably heard people talk about opening up your corners. That's what that refers to, just trying to make every corner as much of a straightaway as you can by just coming in as wide as possible, making it a nice sweeping motion, and just trying to carry your speed. That corner there, I've only ever seen from the perspective of being in the air on the table before it. Whereas today I was like entering the corner from the side of the jump, and I'm like, whoa, this is totally new.
Yeah.
So it was honestly wild just to see how different I viewed the track today. But
yeah,
anyways.
That's why for those listening, section work is so important, because it's different perspective.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy for pros to fall into a rhythm of motos, where sometimes that's not the most beneficial thing.